folks, welcome back to the shop. Just a short video. I want to tell you some things that will mess you up sometimes when you're threading. I know I don't do a lot of threading, but I got into metalworking, making suppressors for my rifles, and that's how I got started. And threading was one of the first things I did, making end caps and threading suppressor tube. And getting a compound slide set properly was always an issue for me. And you know, you're supposed to set it 29.5 degrees. Well, if you look at that dial there, ought to be easy enough. Dial it into 29.5 degrees. But unfortunately, that's not the way it really works, and that will definitely mess you up, because I've been sitting here all damn day fighting, making threads that just don't come out looking right. Just, you know, they'll come out looking halfway decent, but they're just leaning. They just don't fit right. The diameter will start to get smaller before the thread finishes. It just ain't working out right. And I've been in this situation before, and finally figured out the problem, and I'm going to show you what the problem is. Once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. You don't set it 29.5 degrees to that dial. It's the complement of that angle. So if you have a lathe with this, you bring the dial over to 0. You bring it over to 0, and you bring it to the complement of that, which would be 60.5 degrees. So I had it over here at 29.5 degrees, dialing in that, turning those angles as I would cut the threads, and it's just not right. It'll actually look halfway decent, but it's not going to fit right. The true angle is going to be way over here, so it's going to be much closer to that. And then when you measure it, you can actually put a you can get you a protractor and just run it next to the chuck and line it up with that, and you'll see you actually have 30 degrees or 29.5. You'll be much closer, and that's the real test. You can't count on that compound. And, I'll swing over here and show you what the project I'm working on is. I was making some suppressor end caps where I could swap out a 30 caliber suppressor and just put it on a 5.56 just by changing the end cap. So we'll look at that for a second. Alright, what I've got here is a 5.56 barrel that's threaded in half by 28 threads per inch. And this is an end cap I made for a 5.56 suppressor. Of course, it's threaded 20 threads per inch, and this suppressor is a 30 caliber suppressor, and I threaded it 24 threads per inch in a titanium tube. And the reason for that was to this tube is like 90 thousandths thick, and the higher thread pitch you use, you don't go as deep into the parent material there, so that's why I went 24 threads per inch. So I wanted to be able to interchange them. I was going to make another end cap, but man, for hours I've just been sitting here fighting these threads, and they just I've actually parted off several of these already that just hadn't been working out. And I finally had to get on the internet and do some reading, and I ran into this same problem with my smaller lathe, the 10x22 Grizzly. And my neighbor and hunting buddy Ronnie came over last night. He says, "Man, you've been in this situation before, and you had an epiphany, but I can't remember what it was." And I've been sitting here just changing. I just knew it was the bits, you know, the threading tools. I've been fighting this stuff all day long, and I finally realized it's the angle. So it's a common mistake. If you read that dial on the compound slide, it's going to be the complement of 29.5 degrees. So if your dial actually goes that far, it's going to be 60.5. So common mistake. The best way to do it is to take a protractor and either run it up against your chuck and your compound and measure it, but just don't go by the compass that's actually on your compound slide, because that'll get you in trouble. Like I said, a thread form will actually look pretty decent, but it damn sure won't work. It's angled to the side a little bit. When you look at it under any kind of magnification, it just doesn't look good. It's just not right, and you can probably tell that. I'll try to zoom in on that and have a look and see if we can see just how close we can get. Now 24 threads per inch is pretty fine stuff anyway, but you can't really see it here, but under some decent magnification you can tell it. But anyhow, just a short video. I don't know if it helps anybody. It took me a while to search on the internet to find this issue, and it's my own stupidity. If it helps out anybody, good. If not, so be it. to 16. Run it to 16, then zero it back off. And using two chuck keys, rotate it down to the next one and dial it in. Rotate to the next one. And dial it in. It's within a half a thousandth right there, so it's close enough for me. What we're doing here. I knew the other part of this diameter was 1.5 inches, so I just ran it down to that point. Sorry, 1.373, so we'll make another cut here and then take a measurement. actually 1.450, right on the money. Alright, so I just plugged in the DRO numbers there on the x-axis. So last cut 1.450, so I'm shooting for 1.373, so we can just cut up to that point now. Seven. Confirm that. It's pretty close. 3.7. We'll shoot for our distance. I'm going to add about 10 thousandths on that. 1.373, 1.383. Let's keep it at that. Alright, 1.375, 180. That's close enough. We'll leave it at 180. Alright, I'm going to cut a relief. We're threading. Slow the lathe down. About 300. For this relief, for 24 pitch threads, the depth is actually 54 thousandths. So I'm going to cut this relief about 54, 60 thousandths. That way when my threading tool gets down to where it starts rubbing in that relief area, I should be at the proper depth. So that's my thinking behind that. We'll see if it works. Back to where I was earlier. I was messing up these threads. Clarity, we'll put a little dicum on there. Since I'm going to be threading so close to a shoulder, I'm actually going to mount this tool. Mount this threading tool. It's actually an internal tool, but it's going to work for what I got. I'm going to mount it upside down. I'm going to run the lathe in reverse. That way I can actually thread out away from the shoulder instead of trying to crash into the shoulder. So I'm going to go back, change some settings here on the lathe. Get back over to 24 threads per inch. Should be on C3. That's correct. Z2, that's correct. The lead screw is turned on. Alright, we're going to run it at 115 RPMs. Might be able to see it at that angle there. Relief. Do a dry run out here. Reverse. Going in the right direction. That's good to go there. I'm gonna run up here till I touch. I'm gonna zero off the cross slide. Zero. I'm going to come into my relief area. Now I'm going to come over to zero up the compound. In my relief area. Dial in a few thousandths just to get a scratch pass. Going in reverse. Since it's an even number of threads, I can get it on any number on the counter here. There we go. All right, 24 threads per inch is good. Back to relief, back to zero, down in a few more thousandths. form looks pretty good. So much better than it did before. Like I said, this is actually the first cut I made since I discovered that the compound was at the wrong angle. It definitely looks so much better. The threads are standing straight up like they should be. There's no lean to them. A little strong on the, a little heavy on the diameter. Maybe I should have went. I'm going to continue cutting. See if I can't get it down just a little bit more. You go in here and reduce this down a little bit. I need about 10 thousandths too proud, so I'm going to reduce this relief area a little bit. Actually, I need to be going this way. That's pretty darn close. That still keeps me within tolerance. Let's see where we at on the tube. Right where we need to be. So once I put some threads in that, we should be in good shape. 300 RPMs. Alright, well the pitch diameter wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, but I checked the existing cap. It actually wasn't at right on the pitch diameter either. It was off by a few thousandths, as well as this one. So I'm going to go ahead and part it off, and we'll move on. So here we go. Well, here's the finished product. One I just finished on the lathe. Should be an exact match to this one. Still got to do a little deburring on it. But the threads definitely came out much better. This will be the true test. And screws on there just fine. Just fine. I still have to make my little pin wrench holes in here. I hadn't done that yet, but overall it'll be just fine. So now I'll be able to put a 5.56 suppressor on a 30 cal on a 5.56. Be in good shape. But I tell you that I really fought that misaligned cross slide for a long time today. Actually yesterday too, till late into the night. It's funny how my dad always taught me to look for the simplest damn things. That's always the key. If something's going wrong, look for the simplest solution. It's just human nature to jump to the hardest, most complicated thing. I don't know why that is, but it is with me anyway. I've always, Lord knows how much money that's cost me, but some lessons are hard learned. But anyhow, that's where we're at. Part should have took 10 minutes, which actually once I finally got it going, that's all it took. But another part completed. Just a quick project. I really had no intention of even filming that, but once that cross slide got me, I figured it was maybe could help somebody else. So. Oh, and one other thing, the channel is actually really growing pretty fast. Compared to other folks like AVE and Randy Richard and A-Bomb and all those guys, they got thousands of subscribers. I'm up to 268, which in a relatively short period of time. So I really appreciate it. When we hit 500, I am giving away a micrometer, and that won't be the only thing I'll be giving away. I want to try to pay it forward, and Lord knows I got a lot of tools around here that I won't be using. It'll mostly be tools given away, but as we hit points along there, so please subscribe and hit the like button. There's a lot of misconception out there that there's a lot of money to be made in YouTube. There's not. I think I'm at 20,000 views, and I think I'm at $12. So this is a labor of love. It's not about making any money. Maybe if I get 100,000 subscribers, there might be some money in it, but right now it's just doing it because I want to do it. But I do want to see, people watching. It makes it all worthwhile. So subscribe, hit the like button, and comment. If you don't like something, say something. Definitely give me some feedback. I'm no expert at this, so I learn from your feedback. So keep those comments coming. Thank you. Zeke, what are you doing on Thanksgiving? Huh? Nothing? Nothing for Thanksgiving? Can you speak? Stay there, stay. Oh, Lord. Sit. Sit. You want a treat? No, stay. Stay. Sit. 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 Sit down. Up. Oh, hell. I can't throw for shit. Sit. Up. Good boy. That's a good boy. You probably don't want any more, huh? No? You don't want any? You don't want any more? What? I'd give you some. You let them hogs run around. I gotta save some for the pigs. For the hogs. You let them run around here all the time. I didn't say nothing. What? What about the hogs? Well, come here. Come on. That's a good old boy. One more. One more. Some fingers. All right, here we go. Tell him bye, Zeke. Speak. One more time. Louder. Like you mean it. Like you mean it. Speak. All right. Happy Thanksgiving.